Good evening. My name is Megan Wright. Today I'm going to be talking about how to plan a wedding. Um, my dream wedding, since the time I was about 8, because every little girl imagines having their dream wedding, was always a small church wedding with the lace and the burlap and just anything that was rustic country. A lot of people, a lot of people have that envisioned. Some people like the old barn style with like hay bale benches, and some people would rather have a nice, elegant outside wedding with all of the white chairs and the lace altar and just the trees blowing in the wind. For me, mine was always a small church wedding, which when I got married on October 13th of 2018, that was what I did. I was able to get married in the church that I was raised in, which was a really small church out in the middle of like nowhere. It had enough seating for around 80 people, which is about what our guest list was, and it had a reception hall next door, so that was really helpful, and it saved on having to go from the church to the reception hall, which a lot of people have to do, and it was really convenient. The first thing I do want to talk about would be whether or not you want to have a wedding planner. Wedding planning can be very stressful. It also can be very expensive if you hire a wedding planner. They do have a lot of resources online. You can do the free wedding planning apps. They have Zola.com that has a 12-month breakdown on. It's a 12-month calendar, and it tells you exactly what you need to do, like task-wise. From the time you get engaged, it'll tell you when you need to do flowers, when you need to send out your invitations, when you need to send out save the dates. I also used weddingwire.com. It does about the same thing, but it also can help you talk to some of your venues, because some of them you can actually like message the people who you want to get married at, and they can tell you about the price and seating and everything. I had to do that before I decided on where I was going to get married, but that's really helpful. Not having a wedding planner it can be a little bit more stressful, but it also saves you a lot of money, because that can run up depending on who you hire. It could be like $2,000 for a wedding or more, sometimes less. It just depends on who you have. But if you do the wedding yourself, like the free wedding planning on using one of the apps, that one's free, so that does save a lot on your budget, and it does take a lot of the stress away as well. The second thing I want to talk about would be what time of the year you want to get married. I had a fall wedding, which is one of the more common seasons. They also have May, June is a pretty common time, so normally middle to late summer to early fall. There's a lot of weddings that happen in September and October, which is what I got married in, was October. Knowing what season is going to be really helpful, especially with like the dress, because the whole wedding revolves around the wedding dress. I had a old vintage wedding dress that had like the lace and the beading and the little vintage buttons down the back, and I had a small country rustic wedding, so the whole wedding went around my dress. But like if you're going to get married at a beach in the middle of the summertime, you don't want a really heavy dress to do that, so you're going to want more of maybe like simple strapless, just very light flowy dress compared to like a ball gown dress if you were going to get married in a fancy like reception hall or like a barn wedding, because that you can kind of wear whatever for. You also don't want to wear long sleeves in the middle of the summer because you're going to be burning up. So knowing your season and knowing what kind of dress you want to revolve around that is going to be really helpful. With that, some people actually will give you a discount if you go off season, which I'd say normally around November through January is off season, because that's winter and there's not as many winter weddings. So if you go on theknot.com, there's some venues that actually will give you discounts if you get married in the wintertime, because it's off season, so they're still trying to make money. And if it's off season, they're not going to make as much. Say if they had like 4 weddings within 2 weeks during the summer. So checking out and knowing what season you want to get married in helps with cost, and also helps with getting the dress out of the way, because that's one of the main things you need to have done is your dress. The third thing I want to talk about would be the guest list and your food cost. If you're going to have a really big guest list with like 100 people, you're going to have a lot more food, which of course is going to cost more. And trying to keep a budget is going to be good. We had a budget of, I think, under 3,000, so we were able to stay on budget, but we also did a potluck. So we did everyone bring a dish and bring their recipes, so that way we could save it for and put it in a scrapbook. So if you want to do potluck, that's free. Everybody brings something, but if you wanted to do the plate dinners, which a lot of people do in the bigger weddings, that can run up to $40 a person. Or if you want to do a buffet style, that also can run about $27 a person. But you can find that out on weddingwire.com. The average cost for a buffet or really any kind of catering is going to be around $4,000 for the entire wedding, but can be lower. So depending on what kind of season and what kind of wedding you're going to want to do, just knowing all that can help you save money. Hopefully with all the information that I have provided for you, you'll be able to plan your wedding on budget, and it'll be able to be really memorable. And just remember, you can do it on budget. It's going to be amazing no matter what. Just know your seasons and your time frame on when you want to get married, and then keeping the guest list in mind whenever you're planning everything will save you so much money and will take so much stress off your plate. So hopefully this helps everybody out, and hope y'all have a great wedding. Thank you.